You were looking at San Jose State's defensive end, Travis Johnson, who had 10 tackles, 4 sacks, and a fumble recovery and a safety last week against Idaho. Meanwhile, for Utah State safety, McCabe Brady was all over the field last Saturday, 13 tackles and some key stops in the win over Hawaii. We are inside Merlin Olsen Field at Romney Stadium in Logan, Utah. Our matchup, the San Jose State Spartans and the Utah State Aggies. And hello everyone, thank you for watching this Syscom Sports presentation of Utah State football. Michael Clanton along with Kevin White. Both teams desperately need a win to stay in bowl contention.
And who would have thought it, after a disappointing home loss to Louisiana Tech a few weeks ago, a bye week, and then a trip to the islands where Utah State hadn't won since 1966. A bowl game was a distant thought for Utah State, but a last-second win. Now the Aggies just a couple of wins away from becoming bowl eligible and still a lot to play for.
Let's talk about the Spartans, 2-3 in conference play. Blew a 20-point lead to Idaho last week. The running game's going to have to get going, and also quarterback play.
Yeah, Faulkner, the quarterback for San Jose State, second in the conference, averaging 262 yards per game, but he also leads the conference with 11 interceptions. He needs the help from the run game, especially here with this bad weather, to be able to take some pressure off him. If they can run it, they'll have a shot.
And how about the Aggies last week? Dramatic win, down 28-7, starting quarterback knocked out. Kennedy comes in and leads them to a victory.
Yeah, and credit Kennedy. You know, he sat on the sideline behind Chucky Keaton, that phenomenal freshman for Utah State. He came in prepared, 8 of 12, 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, and led the Aggies back from a 21-point deficit to get that win. He's going to have a big role today if the Aggies can continue on their path to becoming bowl eligible.
Should be a wild one. Snowing in the Cache Valley. When we come back, the opening kickoff between the Spartans of San Jose State and the Aggies from Utah State. It's next on KCSG. Kickoff moments away between San Jose State and Utah State in the game. Both teams need 6 of the last 8 meetings have been decided by 1 score. So if history is any indication, it's going to be a tight one.
You know, and where you've got so much parity in a league like you do in the WAC, Utah State has lost all 5 of their games by a total of 25 points. I would expect another close one here today between these two teams, both, as you mentioned, still battling for bowl contention. You know, if San Jose State can get a win today, they need just 2 more wins in their last 2 games to become bowl eligible. The Aggies, 2-3 wins in their last 4 games, and they're there as well. So, you know, both teams a lot to play for.
Let's go down to the field with Brooks Hansen, who's hopefully staying warm down there, Brooks.
Guys, it's a winter wonderland down here. What started off to be a pretty wet, rainy day this morning's turned into a lot of snow. The facility, the maintenance hard to keep the field clean. You can see them working hard. They got the tractors. They're pushing snow all around me. It's going to be a pretty good day, a pretty good game throughout the rest of the day. It's starting to let up a little compared to what it was a little bit ago. So, guys, we'll be down here staying warm. It's not too bad, not as bad as it looks. We'll have a lot of fun on the sidelines. Back to you guys. Have a good call upstairs.
All right, thank you, Brooks. Of course, it was rainy. It was ugly this morning, and then all of a sudden, 11 o'clock, it started to turn to snow, and it snowed for about an hour and a half, and now it's tapered down. How about our keys of the game?
Well, in a game like today, it's all about protection. For Utah State, they need to protect the football. They got to limit their turnovers. They've got to protect Kennedy. You know, Kennedy came in last week, 8 of 12, 163 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Did a terrific job in filling in for that injured, phenomenal freshman Chucky Keaton for Utah State. If they can protect the football, protect Kennedy, they'll protect home turf today and come away with a win. San Jose State, they've got to run the football. They are not a very good running football team. They rely on the pass. But on the other side, they're also second to last in the league in containing the run. That's a key today.
That was our automatic car credit keys of the game. This Syscom Sports presentation of Utah State football is being brought to you by Sports Academy. Your club, your results, your life. Cache Valley Bank. We are Cache Valley's bank. IFA Country Stores, helping to grow the things you love. Icon Health and Fitness, changing lives with fitness innovation. Automatic car credit, where your car buying experience is automatic. GNC, live well. And by Cache Valley Oxygen, serving Cache Valley for over 30 years. So they still have the snowplow on the field. Coach Gary Anderson, his team very close to becoming bowl eligible. And what would that mean for Utah State?
That's a huge step for both Coach Anderson, this program. You know, he's in his third year, and this is his third opportunity against San Jose State, and he's 2-0 against San Jose State. So, you know, riding a little bit of momentum against the Spartans, but for the program, and we've talked about it off and on throughout the season, to get to bowl eligibility is the next step for this program.
He has coached a total of 25 players on NFL rosters. Certainly has a couple on this Utah State roster. Going to see the man in the middle, Bobby Wagner, is as good as they get at that position.
Yeah, look for number 9 today, making plays all over the football field. Comes in averaging more than 10 tackles a ball game. And, you know, just within this scheme that Coach Anderson has set up for Utah State, really is the playmaker in the middle, as you mentioned, for Utah State.
So they've delayed this game about 5 minutes because of the weather and trying to get the snow removed from the field. And of course, the 34th meeting between the Spartans and the Aggies. San Jose State leads the overall series 20-12-1. However, Utah State won the last 2 meetings, including that wild game last year, 38-34 in 2010. This is a rivalry that dates back to 1940.
And you know, with all the speculation of these two teams possibly going to the Mountain West Conference, you know, again,
you went there, Kevin. I like that. Okay, I like it.
You know, I didn't want to go there just yet, but since we've got a few minutes,
we do. We've got a couple minutes to spare here. So
you know, it's an interesting game today for lots of reasons. Obviously, the bowl eligibility angle,
yep.
But both teams now being considered as Mountain West Conference candidates. Of course, if Air Force, Boise State bolt to the Big East, very similar in terms of their overall numbers. You can see there, rushing offense, obviously Utah State's going to be the dominant there. And San Jose State struggles against the run. So that is really one of the keys today. Can that diverse Aggie run game really get off against San Jose State, especially in this bad weather? On the other side, the pass game, Faulkner, second in the conference with 260-plus yards per game. It'll be an interesting mix. Defense against offense, offense against defense on both sides because they're so different. Aggies in the run game, Spartans in the pass game. It'll be very interesting to see who can establish that line of scrimmage today.
And how about red zone scoring, too, Utah State? They've been phenomenal all season, 26 of 28. Is that going to be a key for this game?
Well, I think it could be, although I would say that even more so maybe in a bad weather game like this, the special teams.
Yes.
The kicking game. And Coach Anderson talked to you earlier this week, I know, and not very pleased with his special teams. Even though Stanley Morrison was the special teams player of the week in the conference, the kicking game is still a concern for Coach Anderson. If you've got a close game and you've got to kick a field goal in this weather, I mean, you're going to have to be probably within inside the 25-yard line to really even have a legitimate shot.
Well, last night we had some big happenings here in Logan. The Spectrum was rocking as it was BYU and Utah State. And the Aggies coming from behind in that second half. Brock Heath Payne, 21 points. The preseason conference player of the year in the WAC, was dominant, especially in that second half. Mitch Brunel, who's a newcomer, had 8 points in the first half. And the Aggies beating the Cougars in a terrific game last night. And hopefully, we were hoping that crowd would come over here, but I think the weather kind of changed some people's minds.
Well, and about 1,500 of those kids from the herd were camped out.
Since Tuesday,
camped out on that south side of the Spectrum. You know, maybe they packed up their tents and saw the storm coming in and said, maybe we'll watch this game from home today. I don't know. Good looking crowd over there on the far side. The herd, several of them have made their way into Merlin Olsen Field, Romney Stadium today. But my suspicion is they probably didn't camp overnight.
So another storyline we haven't really got into, Robert Turbin needs 79 yards to reach 1,000 yards for the season. It would be the second time he's been able to do that. And of course, going back to the 09 game, that's the game where he rushed for over 1,000 yards in the season too. So there's some similarities with this game and the game in 09. Of course, that was a snowy game too. Turbin had 24 carries, 190 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and joined Emmett White with the latest 1,000 rusher in Aggie history.
And you know, I'd like to see him get 24 carries this afternoon. You talked to Coach Anderson earlier in the week, and you know, he's averaging 17.5 carries per ball game. I know they've got Smith, they've got Kerwin Williams, they've got this three-headed monster at the running back position, but that big horse in the middle of your screen, Robert Turbin, I think he needs 20 to 25 today, especially, again, in a bad weather game where he's the horse, he's the power guy. In a field and a turf like this, in this kind of weather, I think he needs 20 to 25 today. And watch him go for 150. If he can do that, I think Utah State is in the driver's seat.
He talked about he loves playing in snow. That was one of his favorite games. And he says, not just because of the stats I put up. I just like playing in the snow. I like watching snow games on television. And so maybe he'll have another big performance here this afternoon. And again, just 79 yards shy of 1,000 yards.
And I suspect he'll get it today. And, the weather is lessening a little bit. And I think as a quarterback and as an offense, you don't mind playing in the weather, the snow, as long as there's not a lot of wind. Earlier, the snow was coming horizontal. Now it's lessened. The wind has died down just a little bit. This is actually very good weather to play football in.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. There's a beautiful shot there from high atop Romney Stadium. They almost finished clearing it off, but you noticed a lot of slipping during the pregame. Of course, there was more snow on the field, but do you think footing will be a factor then?
I'll be interested to see. I mean, this field has those black little pebbles, the tire rubber pellets underneath. Now, a lot of times in snow games, the snow mixed with the pellets actually kind of glob onto your cleats, and that makes it very slippery and sometimes heavy on your feet, which makes it difficult to cut. I think they've got it cleared off enough where I don't think it'll be much of a problem here this afternoon.
Another kind of interesting note, in games where Utah State, where they've started slow, they're 3-0. In games where they get off to great starts, they're 0-5.
I was looking at those stats.
No coach says, I want to get off to a slow start. You know?
And I think Coach Anderson talked a little bit about that this week, didn't he? They've been in the lead in 6 out of 8 ball games going into the fourth quarter this year. And, they've lost all of those. Amazing. They've been able to come back and win games last week, obviously. And I think last week's game was a huge statement game. To win against one of those big three, those top three, Nevada, Fresno, and Hawaii, in this league, to win on the road in the islands where they hadn't won since 1966, that may be the sort of boost, especially with a backup quarterback, to get the job done. And that may be something that gets them over the hump in closing out a football game.
Another storyline, Josh Thompson, who prepped nearby Logan High School. 2 PATs for the single season record for PATs made.
And, again, it may be one of those games where Thompson's going to be a key.
Yep.
Especially, I believe, in the field goal game. I think he's obviously very, very accurate. He's only missed one. He's only missed one PAT all season long. And but he needs to extend his range just a little bit in the field goal game, and I think that's why they're going to have to get inside probably the 25-yard line maximum for Thompson to have a shot at a field goal attempt. But they've been very solid in that PAT game. The punting game, not quite as much, and I think that's an area where Coach Anderson would like to see improvement.
Let's have a look at the conference standings coming into this week 11. Nevada, La Tech, and Hawaii all with a chance to clinch. I guess to be bowl eligible. The WAC does have 3 bowl games that they tie into. And you got Fresno at 3 wins, San Jose State at 3 wins, and the Aggies with 3 wins. Had their first conference win last week against Hawaii. The only team that's not eligible for a bowl is Idaho. They were eliminated despite the win last week over the Spartans, just 2-7, so they will not be going bowling. Coach Akey's team went bowling 2 years ago and came close last year. Of course, we remember that Idaho game from a season ago right here. Similar conditions. It was snowy, and the Vandals came on top with the win, but fell short of bowl contention.
That's right. And the Nevada and Hawaii play this evening in Reno. And
big game.
That'll be a big game. Obviously, the winner of that one will be bowl eligible. And if Nevada wins that ball game, they really are in the driver's seat to win this conference.
Of course, Utah State will be without their starting quarterback, the phenomenal freshman, as you've dubbed him, Chucky Keaton, who's really done well protecting the football. A spinal stinger last week against Hawaii, but these are some of his highlights against La Tech.
I'm curious today with Kennedy getting the start and now San Jose State seeing Kennedy on film, how they'll be able to prepare for Utah State. Now, Keaton, so diverse in both the run game and in the throw game, didn't really get a chance to throw it down the field much this season, I thought. Now, with Kennedy, obviously maybe a bigger arm, they'll throw it down the field, and the wide receivers become more of a factor. And I think Coach Anderson would like to see those talented wide receivers for Utah State get more activity in this game. And maybe they weren't able to do that with this young freshman, Keaton, early in this season. like they might have liked to have done, but so diverse, so dynamic in the run game and in the short and intermediate passing game. Certainly missed Keaton and probably more his feet than his arm today.
We talked to Coach Anderson. Will there be a different game plan because of Kennedy as opposed to Keaton? He says no. It'll probably be the business as usual for us. And talking to Coach McIntyre, he says, yeah, I think that Kennedy, he can stretch the field a little bit more than Chucky Keaton can. So kind of interesting dynamic with those two coaches.
And that probably is worrisome to San Jose State, where Kennedy can stretch the field a little bit. Now maybe that opens up that run game, and that's what Coach Anderson is talking about is, with the field stretched a little bit, that opens more lanes and more seams for our diverse running game. And so, maybe there isn't a need to change the game plan. Although I just think that Keaton is so dynamic that he is a game-changing kind of player. Now, can Kennedy be that kind of player with his arm? We'll see. Now, again, I think it's critical for Utah State to establish the down-the-field throw game early in this game so that the run game can have those opening seams and lanes that they become accustomed to throughout the season.
Only the hardy, the most loyal of fan, is out braving this weather to watch the Aggies and the Spartans, and we believe it'll be a terrific matchup.
No doubt about it. Both teams still fighting for bowl eligibility. I mean, there's a lot to play for. Coach McIntyre last year only one win in his inaugural season at San Jose State. Yep. 3 wins this season. Measured progress, much like Coach Anderson at Utah State, measuring the progress not in 1 year at a time, but over a course of time to measure the success of a program.
Yeah, there's no easy fix for either of these programs, and these coaches are finding it out, but they're going in the right direction. There's no question about that. Talked about Bobby Wagner a little bit earlier. None better than him really in the WAC defensively.
The WAC's leader in total tackles. You're going to see Bobby play on Sundays. I don't think there's any question in my mind. His speed, his ability to go sideline to sideline, and the long arms, I think, is really what makes him different than others. He's got that long reach, and you can see here, even on this play against Louisiana Tech, getting to the sideline, and then long arms allowing him, and long fingers, to make those plays.
Bobby Wagner, it'll be interesting to see where he's drafted in the NFL. Out of Ontario, California. He says, we talked to he and Turbin, they're right next to each other doing these warm-ups. And he's like, you crazy, you like to play in snow like that. And sure enough, here it is snowing. He doesn't care for that snow. But you would think as a defensive player, you kind of like it when the weather's a little bit more nasty. Brooks, what do you have for us?
Question about if Chucky Keaton would play it all today. He's not in uniform. He's standing directly in front of me. He's in street clothes or gym clothes. He's here with the team. They got the field ready to go. As you see, a lot of excited fans here at Romney Stadium today. So the backup quarterback will be Taylor Hughes. And I'll keep you updated on any other injuries or anything else we can get. Now that the field's clean, let's play football here in the Winter Wonderland. Back up to you guys.
All right, thank you, Brooks. Yeah, we're ready. We've had an extended pregame show here, and we're ready to get this thing kicked off between the Spartans and the Aggies.
You're right. Only the hardiest of fans here in Logan this afternoon.
Utah State, of course, had 21 players from the state of California. Wagner and Turbin, they're 2 of the 21, but this is a big game for them. They want to get one step closer to bowl eligibility, no question about it. They have Idaho, Nevada, and New Mexico State left. So very possible to become bowl eligible, but obviously this would be a good one.
Huge step. And again, building off of the momentum of last week's victory in the Islands, where Utah State hadn't won since 1966. A huge momentum step for this program. And I think Coach Anderson even called it a statement win for the program to go over to the Islands where, Hawaii hadn't been beaten in, 8 games, league games. One of the most traditionally difficult places to play in all of the country. And Utah State came away in the last-second victory there. That was a huge step there. If they can get the win today, they've got to win 2 of their last 3, 2 of those being at home. So, the Aggies have a chance, really, to get to that bowl eligibility.
Spartans, they have lost 10 consecutive WAC road games. So the road has not been kind to San Jose State. Jacob Bentrud will kick things off. Taking it about the 2-yard line. Up past the 20 to the 30 and finally tackled from behind at the 32-yard line. Nice return by the Spartans. And they've been solid in that department. That's the backup running back, Tyler Irvin.
And Utah State not so much in the return game. That's been one of Coach Anderson's, one of his biggest concerns.
Matt Faulkner, the captain of the team, 6'2", 204 senior, completing 65% of his passes, over 2,000 yards, 11 interceptions, and 9 touchdowns.
Academic all-conference performer as well.
Start with a pass to begin the game. It's caught up past the 36 to about the 37-yard line.
This is something I think that was Otten, the big tight end who they're so high on, making the first catch. You'll see a lot of this intermediate short passing game because they don't have a very strong run game. They're going to use the short intermediate pass game to act almost like a run game.
Otten with his 37th catch. Production off the charts, over 551 yards and 5 touchdowns. Here's Rutley. Oh, broke a Bobby Wagner tackle, has a first down into Utah State territory.
And Wagner, he's talked about it, doesn't like to play in the snow. Got to come in and make that wrap-up tackle.
Cash Valley Bank starting lineups, Quisenberry, Reed, and Fargus. The offensive linemen, they're a little bit banged up too. Backs and receivers, Rutley, we should see a lot of him. And also Noel Grigsby, 23. Mentioned the tight end, 82. Ryan Otten, he's terrific, just a junior. Maybe an NFL guy. Terrific production, one of the better tight ends in the nation. Faulkner to pass. Not there, he's in trouble. And just going to throw it away. Able to get rid of it. Tavares McMillan, the freshman from Miami, with the pressure. Good coverage by Utah State that time.
Yeah, again, wanted to go short to Tuiputo. Peter Tuiputo.
Yes.
I should know that. He was at Snow College.
Aggies play that 3-4 alignment. Talked about Bobby Wagner, 9. Kyle Gallagher, 43. Watch for him, too. Very physical and fun to watch. And McCade Brady, 13 tackles last week at Hawaii. Nevin Lawson, one of the fine corners for Utah State. After the incomplete pass, it's second down. Jones with the catch. And he's got a first down. This guy, whenever you watch him, he just makes plays. Chandler Jones, just a sophomore from Los Angeles, California. That's catch number 43. He has 2 touchdowns receiving coming into this game. They played a game against Hawaii at San Jose State, and he scored 3 touchdowns in 3 different ways. So he's hard to guard. He's one of those matchup nightmares.
And always nice to do on national TV.
Yeah, really made a name for himself in that game against Hawaii. That was a wild game. There's Rutley. Almost 100%. And speaking to Coach Mike McIntyre in his second year, 4 wins and 18 losses. Graduated from Georgia Tech, but he's got this program going in the right direction. This is, one of the better San Jose State teams they've had for some time.
And a long pedigree with Coach McIntyre's father, coached at Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Years ago.
He was the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year back in 1982.
Went down to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. Not many Vandy teams have ever done that.
No. Certainly a prestigious academic school. Well, they go to the fullback. How about this? Lea'ina, the junior from Oxnard, California, his 4th catch of the season. 6'1", 243. He's a junior. Now we might see him a little bit today.
Coach McIntyre, you said you're going to give him the football to carry.
Yeah, is he going to run? No, probably not. We might throw him a couple.
And there it is right there. And it sets up San Jose State in 3rd and short. And again, on a bad field like this, the offense, I believe, has the advantage, at least early on, in terms of knowing where they're going to cut, knowing where they're going to throw, knowing what they're going to do. The defense a little bit on their heels on this slick turf.
Aggie defense being pushed around so far in this first possession. Here's Rutley doing a nice job with the balance, too. We've seen a little bit of the run, certainly a lot of the pass. That's what they're known for. But the common denominator, when they're able to run the football, they win games. That's how they've won their 3 games.
No doubt about it. And we talked about that as one of the keys. In order for Faulkner to have success, they needed to run the football with some level of success to keep the defense honest. Because eventually the defense is going to creep up. They're going to shut down that short passing game. And that's where the offensive line and the run game have to take over for San Jose State for them to really compete today.
Another first down for the Spartans. Impressive looking opening drive. Here's Faulkner. Goes down the field. A caught again. It'll be close to another first down. And they're going to give it to him. And so it's Jabari Carr, the freshman from San Jose, with the reception, coming in 21 catches, 284 yards, and 1 touchdown. He had the winning touchdown catch against Colorado State. 12-yard pickup on first down.
Yeah, and again, the defense on their heels, and this time Alfred Bowden, the replacement for Walter McClinton at safety. A little bit late on the coverage.
Rutley again to the 10.
Great looking opening drive for San Jose State. Mix of run and pass, intermediate pass, nothing down the field just yet. Little play action on the roll for Faulkner. Rutley in the run game, offensive line controlling the line of scrimmage, and I think that Aggie defense really on their heels with this slick field.
Second and 5. Tuitupo going in motion to the other side. 2 tight end set now for the Spartans. Here's Faulkner. Goes in the end zone. Incomplete. Good coverage by Nevin Lawson, the sophomore from Florida.
I think he's out there with Carr. Little flag route to the corner of the end zone. Lawson had a nice inside position. Faulkner put it where only his receiver had a chance to catch this ball. He probably should have gone up with both hands on that one and not gone up with just the one hand. But you see the snow coming, you see the wall coming, you know you're going to slide into it, and as a receiver, you're thinking, I better let this thing go.
Faulkner's been pretty accurate so far. 3rd and 5, though. Aggie defense, they need a stop here. Early in the backfield. Faulkner, pressure coming, almost an interception. McCade Brady, who's had some chances. Something that's really interesting, Utah State only 1 interception, and it's week 11. I brought that up to Coach McIntyre. I was like, well, that's not surprising to me because they play so much man. So when you play man, you probably don't get as many interceptions when you play a zone. Yet but only 1, that's unique.
Yet they lead the league in defense, total defense. Amazing. And a nice job here holding San Jose State to a field goal attempt. Fili Moiatu did a great job getting pressure on Faulkner on that last play.
Jens Alvernick, the place kicker from Stockholm, Sweden, splits the uprights. And so the Spartans get a nice return and take it the length of the field, and they now lead by a score of 3-0 over Utah State. When we come back, it'll be Utah State's turn. Well, nothing like it was at 11:30 this morning. It was coming down. Did a nice job clearing off the field. Impressive opening drive for the Spartans. 12 plays, 58 yards, consuming 44 of clock. Good balance, too. 7 passes, 4 rushes. And they had the 27-yard field goal by Alvernick.
Yeah, very good job. Coach John DiFilippo, the offensive coordinator, did a nice job. Mix of run and pass. You can see they're not going to really take shots down the field. They're going to use that control short game passing game that hopefully will control the clock, and they'll use that a lot like a run game. But I thought they did a nice job with Rutley in the running game, at least keeping the Aggie defense a little bit off balance.
So Wade to kick things off. This will be Jacobs inside the 5. Now past the 25. He's got something here. Still going and finally brought down at the 46-yard line. Utah State getting a good return by Chuck Jacobs, one of those talented receivers who showed up, I think, a day before camp started and immediately had a tremendous impact that first day he was there. I'd like to see them get the ball down more on the edge, but this is a pretty good return by Jacobs.
No doubt about it. When he sees this in the film room tomorrow, though, he's going to see that kicker and he's going to say, and his teammates are going to give him the business because he just needed to make one step and go the other way, and he would have scored.
Wade went high on a 42-yard return. Kennedy, very impressive a week ago at Hawaii, prepared like he was going to be the starter. 8 of 12 for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Here is Robert Turbin, stretching out to about the 48-yard line.
This time they had Michael Smith and Turbin in the backfield at the same time. One of the first times I remember seeing that formation.
These are Cache Valley Bank starting lineups. Molina, Sanchez, Larson, one of the best centers maybe in the nation. Coach McIntyre talked about him. He really stands out. Lloyd, a tall target. And Jacobs, we talked about. Austin, and of course, the Hulk. Kennedy going to run. dives forward, will be a yard shy of a first down. The ball came out late. Let's see. I haven't seen an indication from an official. Spartans say they've got it. And the official now says, yes, he was down. So it'll be 3rd and 1 coming up for Utah State.
I think that's the right call. Looked like as Kennedy dove, looked like the ball, as he hit the turf, the ball comes out. Ooh. They're going to
hurry and snap it.
Yeah, they may need to
Your Utah State's a 3rd and 1. Oh, and they're going to look at it. And
this ball is going to come back to San Jose State, I'm afraid, Michael. That ball jarred loose before Kennedy hit the turf.
Previous play is under review.
It looked like they wanted to go no huddle and quickly, snap the football. 3rd and 1, and they might have turned it over here at the 45.
And I think a lot of times in bad weather games, the umpire stands over the football to try to protect the football, and that didn't allow Utah State to get that quick snap. You see Kennedy doing his best Chucky Keaton impersonation, and that was Pompey, I believe, Festejo with the tackle, jarring the ball loose. See if this angle gets us tough to see on that angle, but I think on that first angle that we saw, looked like the ball was coming loose. Here comes Festejo in with that left arm tackle, jarred right on the football. Yeah, I think this one's going to be overturned, and a nice job by the coaches up here in the San Jose State booth, getting down to Coach McIntyre saying, hey, let's get this one reviewed.
Well, clearly it's a big call in the game early on here if they can force a turnover at midfield. Get a short field, and that offense looked tremendous that first possession.
Is the knee? No, that ball is
elbow knee. It's still up. I think that's a forced fumble and a fumble recovery by the Spartans.
I think you're right.
Last week in 3 games, there were 4 plays that were reviewed in the WAC, and 3 of them were overturned, and the average review time, 1:39.
We're already to that mark here on this particular call. Very important call here early in the ball game.
They're reviewing the Idaho game, too. Remember that there was a catch down here. That took about 10 minutes, it seemed like, from up here.
So that adds time to that 1:39 average review time.
Should have. I don't know what the numbers were for all of last year, but this year, or at least in week 10, it was pretty good at 1:39. They've got the phone out there still and still trying to get an explanation.
And I'm curious what they're looking at. They must be looking to see if the knee was down first before the ball came out. From our angles that we saw, it did look like elbow first, ball out, then knee down. And, you talked about Chucky Keaton, how well he's protected the football all season long. Only 2 interceptions. And I can't remember more than maybe a fumble or 2 on the season. Very few turnovers. Kennedy, not normally a scrambler, not like a Keaton. Didn't quite put it away, but a good play by Festejo to knock it loose with that left hand.
Festejo, one of those guys that have already graduated for the Spartans. Got a number of guys like that. He's one of the captains. Has 2 interceptions and 1 forced fumble and 1 fumble recovery. Looks like they're off the phone, and they're going to make the call here.
After review, the ball was fumbled and recovered by San Jose State. First down. Please set the clock to 9:24. 9:24. Thank you.
And now the Aggie defense on a quick change. Let's see if they can come out and make a play and get a 3 and out or force a turnover going the other way. I thought they were a little tentative on that opening drive with this field. And it's tough when you have to sit and wait for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You get all warmed up, you're ready to go, and then you wait for another 10 or 15 minutes, and maybe a slow start for that Aggie defense.
You're so used to patterns and a way of doing things, so that gets disrupted. Sometimes it takes a while to get back into the groove, but the Spartans, the same deal. They had to wait around too. And so far, perhaps affecting Utah State. So after the turnover, here come the Spartans from the 45. Faulkner looking to throw and does so. Nice catch by Jabari Carr, the freshman from San Jose.
Always nice to have a senior quarterback. Notice the Aggies were coming out in a man blitz, man free look. Had a little pick route that time. Inside to out, outside receiver running the little post route. Easy pitch and catch against the man defense.
Gain of 11 yards. Another first down. Again, no huddle. Faulkner Goes down the field, and it's caught. Nice catch. Inside the 25 to the 24. And again, that's Carr.
Again, manned up with Lawson. This time, just you see it so often now in football, at all levels. That back shoulder fade, sort of a comeback route. Senior quarterback with his receiver right on target.
Explosive play of 20 yards, and there's a nice defensive play. Kyle Gallagher coming in and getting the stop.
Maybe what this defense needs, somebody to fire him up a little bit. Gallagher shooting the gap, getting Rutley in the backfield. And there's that weak running game that has Coach McIntyre so concerned.
There is Gallagher, one of the fiery players out of Woodland, California.
He's got that beard going, perfect for this weather. Little mountain man look.
That November look.
Absolutely.
There's Faulkner again with time. Caught by the tight end. They had both tight ends in on that play, and it's Ryan Otten. Talked about it, one of the more productive tight ends in the nation. One of 25 players named to the 2011 John Mackey Award, which goes to the best tight end in the nation. A gain of 7. Third down.
That time the Aggies just in a little soft zone. Otten sat it down and was able to get an easy reception.
Otten going in motion. Faulkner to pass. Not a good throw that time. Looking for Ryan. And it's incomplete. Fourth down. He's been pretty accurate so far, and that one was not even close.
And the Aggies came out again in a man look on this one. Wagner stride for stride with Otten. And Lawson, a great job on the outside against Carr, shutting that one down, forcing Faulkner to come back to Otten. Even if he would have caught the football, it would have been short of the first down. So a good job by the Aggie defense to bend, but not break and force field goal attempts and not let him get into the end zone.
Got a 38-yard field goal attempt by Jens, who connected earlier from 27. Plenty of distance, and he's got another one. So the Spartans turning the turnover into 3 more points. And they lead by a score of 6-0 over the Aggies. 7:21 left in the first quarter. Back after this. Logan, Utah, WAC showdown. 2 teams desperately in need of a win to stay bowl eligible or bowl contention. And the Spartans out to a quick start. Able to get 3 points off the turnover. 6 plays, 34 yards. Alvernick, his second field goal. This one from 38 yards. It's our GNC scoring drive. You have to give some credit, though, to Utah State's defense for not allowing that to be, a touchdown.
That's right. They bent but didn't break.
Here's Jacobs again, out past the 30, gets a block at the 40. Look at him go to about the 48-yard line. The ball came out, but I believe he was down. The official adamantly saying he was down. Pushing and shoving out there. So back-to-back good returns by Chuck Jacobs. And now let's see if Utah State can use this. Last time they turned the ball over.
And we talked about it. One of the keys to the game is protecting the football. In this cold weather, if you don't pinch that football and keep it protected against your chest, it's going to pop out. This time it did come out as he hit the turf. Obviously the turnover previously by Kennedy. They got to protect the football in order to win this game because they are the superior team, I believe, Michael. And the only thing that can beat Utah State is the turnovers and hurting themselves.
A return of 45 yards. So a 41-yarder and now a 45-yarder. That's got to capitalize off that. Kennedy going to hand it off. Here is, I believe that was Smith. Well, he might have just got back to the line of scrimmage. Not much there. We should see more of Kerwin Williams. Had a migraine headache last week against Hawaii. Look at the starting lineups here by Cache Valley Bank. Watch for Travis Johnson. Had a huge quarter against Idaho where he forced a fumble, recovered one, and had a couple of sacks. And Smith, an NFL guy, one of the linebackers, Yell, and Duke Anacho, one of the better safeties in the WAC. This pass is caught close to a first down by Taron Lloyd, the big 6'7" tight end, with just his 9th catch of the year. Had 1 catch against Hawaii for 11 yards. We'd like to see him get more involved in this offense.
And this is a nice little play. Simple little read route. Lloyd reads where Festejo, the middle linebacker, is positioned. Then he has the option to either cut inside or outside and then let Kennedy put it on him. And he got it to the first down marker. Initial first down for the Aggie offense.
It was close, but they do say it is a first down. A power formation here by Utah State. Here's Turbin. Gets a block from Lloyd. Look at him go. He's gone. Turbin scores another touchdown. His 45th. Beautiful. A 39-yard touchdown run.
Beautiful blocking that time. Just a little counter tray is the old terminology that they use. Great job by that Aggie offensive line. And Tilave, I believe, got a block to seal it out right there on the edge. Taron Lloyd, also a nice block. Turbin untouched all the way to the end zone. Easy run for Turbin that time. But again, when that big horse gets rolling, nobody's going to catch him.
Received a great block from Lloyd, his tight end, and that's all he needed. As Utah State a chance to go on top here. Thompson with the PAT, and it is good. Aggies lead for the first time today, and it's the Hulk, Robert Turbin, racing 39 yards for the touch. 7-6 Aggies. So Utah State able to use that positive return by Jacobs of 45 yards, then finding Lloyd for the first down, and then the 39-yard run of beauty.
Yeah, that counter tray, great seal block. You can hear Vince Lombardi in the background saying, getting a seal here and getting a seal there. Lloyd, great job kind of turning the defender, creating that lane for Turbin, and nobody's going to catch him.
Love the NFL Films reference with Vince Lombardi. It's just a 3-play drive. That'll work. Here's Irvin. Oh, he's got something cooking. He's really got Giovanni the beat. Then he cuts it back. Inside the 5, he is dove into the end zone for a touchdown. So, just like that, the Spartans retake the lead. And what a return that was by Tyler Irvin, who's a special teams guy, and now the number 2 running back, because Freeman out for the season with a fractured left arm during the Nevada game, but this is quite a return.
And Coach Anderson's talked about it. He said that he gives his special teams a D+ thus far in this season, and you can see why. They just have not been able to sustain good field position in the punt game, and now in the return game, 2 good returns for San Jose State, and that is a key factor in a slick field like it is today.
A 95-yard kick return for a touchdown. And Jens with the point after, it's good. So just like that, it is now 13-7. Spartans back in front.
Football's a weird game, isn't it?
Well, this was a wild game last year in San Jose State, too. Aggies came from 10 down to win 38-34. That second half was just crazy. And, Kerwin Williams had a big game in the return. So.
And Coach Anderson, you can see, I'm sure he wants to chew right through his headset right now. You just get a touchdown to go take the lead, feel like you've got some momentum, and then you can't come out and make a play here on the special teams. Good blocking by San Jose State, but the Aggies actually came down with too many open lanes in their coverage, allowing Irvin to run about 160 yards when he cut back across the field all the way to the end zone. Big momentum play for San Jose State.
I mean, he's just a recent find, to be honest with you. They used him because the other guy got injured, but he averaged 21 yards a kick return. And certainly that'll improve.
That'll go up now. He's got a 31-yarder and also now a 95-yarder. Special teams, so critical. That's why the coaches, whenever you talk to them post-game, they always, no matter when you talk to coaches, it's all 3 phases of the football game. If you don't win at least 2 of the 3, you're going to lose the football game. And right now, special teams playing a factor on both sides.
Of course, the last time a kickoff return for a touchdown was the week 1 against Auburn, 97 yards by Trey Mason. This is Harris. Let's see what Harris can do. Are you serious? Boy, coverage teams having a hard time against the return teams. Harris with a nice return of 41 yards. Aggies have 3 returns of 40 yards or more.
Remember, what we got to do is just play punt and kick. Big play after big play in the special teams. So as quickly as they give one up, they get one right back now to give themselves good field position. And I'd love to see them pound Turbin here again. Big lanes in that counter tray. The power run game, the diverse run game that Utah State employs, averaging 267 yards a game.
Here's Turbin trying to cut it to the edge, then cuts it back. Gets to about midfield. That looked like that had potential to go a long way.
It looked like it was designed cutback. You could see Turbin's head kind of, and his eyes turned back to the right, but there was so much space to the left, he had to go to the left. But because he hesitated just a little bit, it allowed the defense to sort of converge to limit him to a 4-yard gain.
Of course, what Coach McIntyre said, we have to stop the home run ability of Utah State, and they didn't on that last drive. Turbin again. Boy, met in the backfield, broke a tackle, and picks up an Aggie first down. There's the strength of Robert Turbin.
And I think he went toe-to-toe with Festejo, Pompey Festejo, the middle linebacker, and Turbin able to win the battle. Festejo getting into the backfield there. Actually, that was number 31 for San Jose State.
Smith.
Yeah, Smith, the linebacker, the 6'1", 229-pound sophomore from Covina, California. And Turbin, the Hulk, as you like to call him, was able to step through it.
He's fascinated with that superhero. Kennedy goes deep. Big ball double coverage and dropped by Ronnie Yell. That's, maybe what you get with Kennedy. He's going to test the waters a little bit more than Keaton did, but certainly good coverage by the Spartans. Jacobs nowhere near open.
And ill-advised throw, but I like the concept of let's take a stretch. Let's stretch him down the field because the defense is starting to sort of creep up the safeties inside that 15-yard box instead of being 18 to 20 yards deep. So actually not a bad play on first down to stretch the field.
Pass caught by Austin, trying to shake free of a would-be tackler. Gets to about the 36, 37-yard line. Again, just so many weapons for Utah State on the edge. They've had a hard time getting the ball out to him. In week 11, he's their leading receiver with 20 catches.
Less than 2 per ball game.
And, contrast that with San Jose State. Their guy, Noel Grigsby, he's got 70. Obviously, it's a different philosophy in offenses. In Utah State, one of the most prolific running attacks in the WAC. But still, just to have a leading receiver with 20 catches as Smith gets the ball, a minimal pickup is startling.
It is. You're right. It is a difference in philosophies. And here on 3rd and short, they did this against, I believe it was Louisiana Tech, and even Fresno State, where they had Smith as the ball carrier instead of Turbin on 3rd and short. I found that fascinating. And the Aggies now going for it here on 4th down. Might as well sort of inside that range of punt field goal.
They're 6 and 10 on the year, going for 4th down. Kennedy's in trouble, and he's going to be dropping a turnover on downs. Looked like he wanted to pitch to Morrison. Didn't react quick enough, and the Spartans, again, forcing really what is a turnover.
Right. This one's a curious call again. Kennedy is not Keaton.
Yeah, the option play with Kennedy is tough.
No,
tough to sell.
That's not the strong suit for Kennedy. Coach Anderson talked about not changing the playbook, but here hesitate. Defense collaborates, and no chance for Kennedy. If you're going to pitch it early and let Turbin make that play.
Yeah. I said Morrison, but clearly he was trying to get it to Turbin. And got into trouble, and they turn it over at the 36 movement, and they will stop this play. Spartans believe it's going to be called on Utah State.
Al Lapuahu jumping across.
Something that San Jose State, they've done a remarkable job of is penalties. 3rd nationally with fewest penalties.
Offside defense, number 77. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So it is Big Al. They average per game 3 penalties. That's it. And number 1 in the WAC with fewest penalty yards with 37.
That's very clean football. Unfortunately, Faulkner has turned it over 11 times on interceptions. If you can limit the penalties and the interceptions and the turnovers, you've got a chance to win or at least be competitive in ball games.
That could be a lateral. Utah State, they say they have it. Now the official says it's an incomplete pass.
I think that's the right call. At least it looks like that from our angle. Faulkner at the 36, that ball, forward to the 38-yard line, so that's the right call. And Chandler Jones, who made a big play in the opening drive, just took his eye off the football, turned upfield before he secured the football.
Wagner right there, 2nd and 5 after the incomplete pass. Aggies are due for an interception, though. You would think maybe this would be the game to get it. Here's Rutley.
Yeah, that is a remarkable stat. Only
Yeah.
one interception all season long.
And it's not by a secondary player, it's by Wagner.
And as much as they ball hawk, as much as Coach Anderson preaches the ball hawk technology or technique and philosophy, you would think they'd get more tip balls or something that would give you a chance.
Now, they've dropped a few.
Yeah, they have.
But still, just to have one, it's just one of those unique stats here in week 11 of the college football season. Otten going in motion to tight end on a 3rd and short for the Spartans. With time, goes down the field to Otten. He's got a first down and much more. Wagner chasing him from behind. Eventually, he and Brady make the stop, but a big pickup by the Spartans. Another explosive play. That's their second explosive play. They've had 7 plays of 40 yards or more coming into this game. An explosive play is anything over 20 yards, and certainly they get it here with the tight end.
Little wheel route, man coverage. Starts with protection up front. Good job by that offensive line. A little out and up cut by Otten. Beat Wagner down the sideline. And you talked about Wagner not liking to play in the snow, and thus far he's struggled a little bit early in this ball game.
Not quite a 40-yard gain. That was 38 yards. Nice job on the run. Big Al now going out, bringing some different personnel, but they've done okay in terms of balance. Have the Spartans. I guess this is probably kind of what you expect. See first downs. Spartans 7, Aggies 3.
Yeah, I don't think San Jose State's going to be able to consistently move the ball on the ground against Utah State. They don't run the ball very well to begin with, and against this good Aggie run defense, that's not going to be their game. It's going to be that intermediate and short passing game that will get them down the field.
Faulkner. The catch made. Great catch. Working on Robertson.
And again, the second time we've seen that back shoulder fade. Got the defensive back. Robinson turned. Jelani Robertson got his back turned there. Just a little bit of a push off. Yeah, a little bit of a nudge. But he's looking back to where the ball is. Robertson has no idea where the ball is when the ball is in the air. When you play a lot of man-to-man coverage, you'll get that route almost any time.
Kyle Nunn coming on the last 3 games with 8 catches. He now has 11 on the season. They will run the football. Here's Raleigh. He's in for a Spartan touchdown. So showing balance on that particular drive is, again, that defense turning Utah State over on downs and then going the length of the field and scoring again, this time using their running back Brandon Rutley from Martinez, California. Now his 9th touchdown. Coming in, he had 650 yards rushing.
A good drive. Excellent drive by San Jose State. Excellent mix. Little wheel route down the sideline to Otten. Little back shoulder fade. And using Rutley maybe once or twice on the drive just to keep the Aggie defense honest.
Alvernick with a point after, and it's good. So they have been ready for anything that Utah State has thrown at them so far. The Spartans leading the Aggies by a score of 20-7. A minute remaining here in this first quarter, which a lot of big plays. Haven't seen too much defense. That's our GNC scoring drive. 6 plays, 64 yards, 213. Of course, Rutley with the 5-yard touchdown run. Coach Anderson not real pleased. He is the defensive coordinator, and his defense hasn't been able to really slow down the Spartan offense.
They look a little sleepy. Maybe, well, let me just say this. It's 20-7, right where Utah State wants them.
This has been the recipe for good things to happen for the Aggies. Fall down early and then come back in the second half and win. That's their 3 wins. That's what's happened. They've got off to a slow start, and they've won them 20-7 to Hawaii on the road, where they haven't won since '66.
So maybe they've got it right where they want. Where they have started well and where they have taken the leads, they haven't been able to finish. Well, they've walked a little bit through this first quarter. And let's see if they can pick it up now.
Williams picks it up at about the 10 to the 20. And be brought down about the 22, 23-yard line. Williams looked like he hesitated a little bit. Didn't hit it full stride like we're accustomed to seeing. One of the better returners in the nation last year. Set an FBS record with return yards.
Yeah, very tentative on that one. I thought Jacobs and was it Morris? The other one,
Harris.
Harris. I'm sorry. The other kick return terrific, just getting up in there and making something happen. This time Williams kind of waited and danced a little bit too much.
Yeah, the 3 returns all over 40 yards. This one just 15. Here is Turbin picking his way up to about the 29-yard line. Getting closer. He needed 79 for 1,000. He's getting closer to that.
It's going to be interesting with the lead now, what this San Jose State defense, very base defense, a 2-deep or a 3-deep look on almost every play, zone look on every play, not a lot of man. Let's see if Kennedy can take advantage of that.
Turbin again, not much there. Across the 30. 3rd and short coming up for the Aggies.
Big Travis receding in on the tackle there. Kind of collapsed the hole, kind of cut in front of Larson. That offensive center that you talked about is so valuable for this Utah State offense. Well, they slept luck through the first quarter, Michael. Let's see if Coach Anderson gets them fired up here to start the second.
Right where they want them. That's what you said. We'll see. Down 20-7. Spartans on top of the Aggies. We'll come back as Robert Turbin races for a touchdown. Back in the second quarter after this.